$1 Million Quartet is the story of a magical night in rock and roll history where four rock legends got together for the first time at Sun Studios for an infamous jam session. It's no wonder this hugely popular show is playing worldwide. Tonight, I get to meet with Britton Lyons, who plays the part of Carl Perkins, and Eric Stang, who plays the part of Jerry Lee Lewis, to find out what it takes to recreate the sound and the look of these rock legends. In what ways did your background in music in Seattle and acting in Seattle help you with this role?
Well, I played in tons of bands and used to write a lot of songs with a bunch of friends of mine. We had a recording studio in the basement of the house, all that stuff. So it was just basically the spirit of creating rock and roll. I think I was surrounded by since I was in high school. And that, since we're doing this show about these early pioneers of rock and roll where they were accessing that creative spark, yep. I'm able to bring some of that, that energy into portraying Carl Perkins.
So tell me about the first time you ever heard Jerry Lee Lewis's music. Does anything come to mind?
Definitely. I was probably around 5 years old when I heard Great Balls of Fire, a little cassette tape player in my car, and I do remember being blown away by it. I don't know, I hadn't heard that much music being 5 years old, but just the energy of it and just the piano crashing and everything, I loved this song.
What is it like in the journey of creating Carl Perkins on stage? What sort of things do you do to prepare? And just tell us a little bit about that.
That's a good question. He was such a phenomenal guitar player, and I had tons of help from our music director. His name's Chuck Mead, and he's a real Nashville hillbilly type cat, and he was able to teach me a lot of or at least some of the ways to access that style of music. Where from Seattle, playing a bunch of power chords and rocking it out like that, I was able to learn a lot of new stuff from Chuck, and watching some videos of Carl and how he moved around on stage, and he was a terrific performer, and I just try and pay homage to the legacy that he's left, while at the same time, bringing my own flavor and energy into today's world.
Can you give us a little example of some of the signature Jerry Lee Lewis on the keys feel here?
When you talk about Jerry Lee Lewis, what you're going to hear 9 times out of 10 is going to be just... So he's just banging.
I guess I'll start with something totally dry with no effects on it, right? And then I can compare. So if this is just dry, just play a little tic-tac, for example. You just hear just the guitar right there. But if I were to add the slapback, you're going to get that repeat there. It just adds such a rhythmic element too.
He can do a lot more than that, but he's very consistent that he'll just go up. Yeah. And of course the glitz.
And then there's also the tremolo effect that's that was used widely in the 50s as well. It was built into amplifiers, and you get a sound something like.
What's the experience going to be like seeing $1 Million Quartet in this theater here for the first time for someone just coming in?
It's going to be a fantastic experience because it's intimate. You're right in there on the music. It's good and loud, not too loud, but loud enough that you really get a feel for it, and you really get to see what these guys are really doing. Yeah. And you can see their hands, and you can see us interacting with each other on stage, and even when we're counting off a song or this or that. So you really it's really a rock concert. You're really in on that, and it's really raw.
Which is, I think, the way it should be experienced.
I definitely agree. I think there's no better way to experience this kind of show than at this theater at New World Stages.
For tickets and information to $1 Million Quartet, go to TheaterMania.com today.